How do I start a video? I don't know. But here we go. There are people walking by me and it's awkward. So, you want to know more about OSU? Have I got the script for you? Today, I'm at Moral Hall and people are looking at me weird. So today we're at Moral Hall. And basically, I have a lot to say about Moral Hall. I have several thoughts. So basically, that's Moral Hall. That's a generator. Fit check. Oh yeah, just had to get that out there. So today, we're learning about Moral Hall. Would you like to know about Moral Hall? I thought you would. So Moral Hall was named after Justin Smith Morrill, who sponsored the Land Grant Act to basically, it was his act that he proposed and it got through to Congress, which allowed the university, our university, Oklahoma State University, to have land to build buildings on. Basically what it said was that states could sell land to universities in the interest of bettering higher education. So basically, Oklahoma State University is a land grant university, and Moral Hall was basically part of the land that was granted to Oklahoma State University. So originally, Moral Hall was the agricultural college's building, and it was named Moral Hall at the time, but it was not the English department we know today. I have 2 classes currently this semester in the Moral Hall building, and they're both on the 3rd floor. On the 4th floor, you can find the offices for the English department's professors, which I've been to. It looks pretty cool. A little fact about Moral: it burned down. I think it was built in like 1906, 1905, somewhere in there, right? And it burned down 7 years later in 1914, and it was thought to be an electrical fault. So basically, the college burned, it was called the Agricultural College for a while. It burned down and it was rebuilt, and after that it mainly became the English department's building, and that is what it is still currently. So the building looks really old inside because it was reconstructed, I want to say, in the 1920s. It's pretty old. It's about as old as Gunderson Hall, which is actually right across the street, and that's where we're going to next. Oh, I'm sorry. You want some? You and I are currently sat in a tree right now across the field from Gunderson Hall. I nearly said Moral Hall. I mean Gunderson. Gunderson was named after Carl Gunderson, who was the head of the Department of Mathematics from 1909 to 1938, which was the year he died. Wow. Gunderson, being one of the oldest buildings on campus, was originally the engineers' college or building. So it's the original building. It was made in purpose for engineering students. It had like labs and just big spaces where they could do projects and such, as well as classrooms. Since the School of Business has its own school now, all of the engineering students have moved over there. So currently, it is the building for theater kids like my roommate, which you will meet soon, and my foreign language class, which is the Spanish class me and my roommate take together. So its main purposes now are for theater and for foreign language classes. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's old. Some interesting facts. It was constructed in 1911, and the building was completed in 1912. Before the building was actually constructed, there was a boiler house and some shops for merch, I guess, and those were demolished to make way for Gunderson. Pretty sweet. Here's the tree. It's a tree. Oh my god, it's a squirrel convention. Ain't no way people are littering on my watch. Hi, I'm currently outside of North Dining right now. So some interesting things about North Dining. You may ask, why is it named North Dining? Well, let me tell you, it's on the north side of campus, and this is where you come to eat, so therefore North Dining. Really, use a lot of brain cells on that one. Anyway, so some interesting facts. My roommate works here. You're gonna see her soon. She also works across the sidewalk at Adams Market, where you go and buy crap. Wow, who would have known? Anyway, so some interesting facts about North Dining. North Dining cost $12.9 million to construct. Now, in comparison, Morrill Hall, which I showed you before, only cost $2 million in today's money to construct. So that's a lot of money. Another interesting thing about North Dining, there's 7 unique locations where you could come in and eat. I know that there's like a Mediterranean place, a pizza place, a mac and cheese bar. There's a all-day breakfast place, that's B&B. I like the people that work there, but from what I've heard, North Dining is kind of hectic to work at compared to where I work. I work in the student union for the catering department. So, yeah, that's really it. I mean, North Dining is just kind of boring. North Dining is also close by the University Commons, they're also on the north side of campus. So it accommodates a lot of students in that way because we have the University Commons, the halls like Zinc and IBA. I think IBA's over here. I could be wrong on that, don't quote me. I'm not familiar with the north side of campus, but yeah.
Are you gonna ask me a question?
So tell me about your experiences working here and at North Dining.
And North Dining. Well, here I do this. I check people out. I give people things. If we go over here, you can see what I help stock. Awesome. Swag. We have all the mini muffins anyone could ever need. In every flavor.
You look like a saleswoman.
I don't know what you want from me.
Hey, back up. Tell me a horror story about working at North Dining or here at Adams Market.
There's no horror stories. It's been pretty chill, not gonna lie.
Tell me about your worst coworker.
I don't want to name drop.
Okay, you don't have to name drop. You can give them a...
But he threatened to spit in a customer's food once. I also had a coworker take a trash can and put it on the counter while we were making food, and there was maggots on the counter. He got fired 2 weeks later.
As he should.
Yeah, those are my worst coworkers.
Tell me about your worst experience.
After I got back from Thanksgiving break, everybody was still at home. So I worked a 6-hour shift by myself. I don't know what else you want from me.
Okay, tell me what you do at North Dining.
Well, it's not gonna be accurate because I don't have things here. I make food. I don't know what else you want me to say.
Okay, what else do where do you work in North Dining?
I work at Noodle U and Zest.
Okay, tell me about those places. What do you serve?
I sell noodles at Noodle U and Mediterranean food at Zest.
Okay, so what do you do? What do you do there?
I serve food.
What goes in, do you make food or you just serve it?
I just serve food.
Okay.
I'm not a chef, I just literally give people food.
So I'm currently at the Kurt Drummond complex after my house nearly burned down over the weekend. That was fun. I just got off of a 5.5-hour shift. I've been working over the weekend. I think I clocked about, I want to say 16 hours the past 4 days. So it was probably more than that. I want to say 18. But today we're at my favorite location out of my list. So I'm at the Kurt Drummond complex. And so Kurt which is right behind me, was named after the first Oklahoman-born governor of the United States. Or, I don't really know. Governor of something, that's for sure. He was the governor of something, and they named it after Robert S. Kerr. Look him up. I don't know who he is, but that's who this is named after. And over here, we got Drummond, and Drummond was named after Fred Drummond, who was an OSU student who became a prominent businessman and a rancher. So that's pretty cool. The buildings did not have a different name in the past. So some interesting facts. Well, first of all, let me tell you why I love this place. It's so windy, bro. So, I love this place because... So, personally, why I like Kerr Drummond so much is because, they're just kind of, like, I got a vibe from them. So I first noticed them whenever I had to walk home from, work at night. So, like, if there wasn't a bus on the weekends or something like that, or if it was just too late at night, then I would walk by Kerr, which is along Farm Road. So I just always thought they were super interesting, because it's obvious that they're abandoned. Like, it's an old style building. You can tell it's from the 60s just by the blue tile and such. All of the windows are like either closed or they're open. It looks like it was just left after the last batch of people that lived there were there. It just kind of looks like it was abandoned. So, which it was. So basically, Kerr Drummond served as a residence hall from 1966 to 2018. It was decided that it would become a parking lot soon, which makes me really sad because I think these buildings are really cool, but they're deciding to tear them down because it would be too much money to fix them up. So it would actually be more cost effective to just replace them as a whole, and because of the lack of parking at OSU, they're just gonna bulldoze it and make it a parking lot, which makes me sad, but I think it's beautiful here. I mean, I think it's super, super pretty and super beautiful, and these buildings actually have a lot of history. Something you may not know is Elton John played on the piano, which is currently in the mezzanine, which is in the middle of Kerr and Drummond. He played a concert at Gallagher Hall in 1973. I think someone convinced him to come to OSU and play, but basically it was a mini grand piano. It's still in the mezzanine as far as I know. And he played on it at Gallagher Hall. And it was actually funny because at the end of the concert, like it was by no means a big concert, which kind of shocked me. It was like not a lot of people went. It wasn't like people were up and dancing or anything. But what was funny to me was at the end of the event, a lot of people got super mad at him because he danced on their piano in the middle of his show. And they got really pissed at him, and I thought that was super funny. But yeah, he played on the piano that's currently in the mezzanine. I took some pictures of inside, and it just looks completely abandoned and like basically left as it is. Like the rooms inside for residents look like they were just left, and yeah, that's interesting. So basically, for like pretty much the latter half of, or like the last quarter of Kerr Drummond's life being a residence hall, it was mainly used for like an overflow of students because the buildings are very run down. There's like visible mold on the walls outside. That's really fun and very much not safe. So that's interesting. What's up, brothers? I'm outside of Peterson Hall, which is where I live. Some interesting facts about Peterson Hall. So Peterson Hall was named after Duane Peterson, which was she was a faculty member of the Vet Med science building, I think, and she was named Teacher of the Year 4 times, and she was like an honorary person, so they named Peterson in her honor. Peterson, I live here. It's about a 25-minute walk from the Union. It's about 10 minutes from North Dining. We live on the, well, it's on the northwest side of campus. So basically, it houses 210 students. It's like an apartment-style place, so it has 4 rooms per apartment and a kitchen, a washer and dryer, and a living room. So Peterson is connected to Friend Hall, and they kind of make a U-shape. Not a U-shape, like a circle. And in the middle is just a bunch of it's kind of like a park. We have a barbecue pit and stuff like that. And in the middle we also have the Patillo Center, which is where I get my mail and stuff like that. And across is Cam Hall, which is where one of my friends lives. And together, Peterson, Friend, and Cam make up the KPF neighborhood. So yeah, this is where I live.